Hello and welcome to Work the Left Side. My name is Ash. I am making my hosting debut, or whatever you want to call it. Our fearless leader, Nick, has given me the reins to invite some of my favourite people off the Instagram, off our Instagram, and record an all-in hype video. Obviously, the two gentlemen that I've invited are absolutely going to all in as well, because that wouldn't make sense if they weren't. So, welcome, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Good, really good, thanks.
Yep, good. Thanks for having us.
No problem at all. My pleasure, absolutely. Are we hyped?
Very much so, yeah.
Oh, bro, it's a special evening, and it's going to be a pleasure to be part of the crowd. Like, what we're on now is at 80,000, and it's like 600 or something.
Yeah.
Like that. It's
almost at 81.
Staggering, absolutely staggering. I don't think I've been around that many people before. I kind of avoid people at the best of times, so it's going to be really weird to be happy to be amongst that many people. So, hooray for being a weird person. So,
yeah,
but anyway, yeah,
strange,
yeah, for sure.
I think pretty much everyone is going to be there that from the world of wrestling in the UK, Europe, and beyond. It's almost like a Glastonbury of wrestling. The amount of people that are going, it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
it certainly looks that way. I'm really enjoying how how it's been kind of not really billed, but people are saying it's like the AEW's WrestleMania kind of thing. I like how there's been other companies like piggybacking off the fact that there's going to be people from all over the world, all over Europe, all over the country, like go into London for All In, and there's like the Rev Pro show that me and you have discussed before, Scott, and it's just like one of the most unbelievable cards, and I hate that I'm not going. And then there's other shows as well, like Nigel McGuinness is doing an evening with kind of evening, and then is there a Defy and Progress? Defy coming over from the States and doing a show with Progress, which also looks pretty tidy. So
Fozzy are playing on Friday night as well. They're doing a gig, so it's.
Are you going?
No, it's going to bleed me dry as it is. So it's definitely packed. It's going to be like a 4-dayer. Obviously, you've got the bank holiday, which is a blessing as well. But
sure. Is either you guys going to that Rev Pro show at the aforementioned?
No, I wish. The card looks incredible.
Yeah, I grabbed the ticket when I saw the first match announced with Will Ospreay and Takagi, and I was like, "Yep."
That match is going to be amazing, incredible.
I hope I can find that match online. That entire show online, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm
do they put their shows up?
Yeah, you can.
They have a streaming service.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and
I'll have to catch that when it's
all very good. The just the amount of people coming over, and it's maybe giving some clues as to who may be coming to Wembley as well. There's a lot of and also if you look at Progress are running a show in Camden, and you've got Haskins versus Kenta, I believe. So
I still can't believe
I'm still holding up for Kenta running on CM Punk.
That's. I mean, we can dream. Yeah. I really don't think holding our breath for that to ever happen at this point. Like the golden opportunity was literally at Forbidden Door, and for one reason or other, it's just not happened. So
maybe it might happen next year. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, fair. I mean, I like the positive vibes, guys. I like it. Keep it. Let's keep it.
It's an exciting time, definitely, and obviously with Edge this weekend. And obviously, it doesn't look like he's going to be at Wembley. They're saying it's kind of tied up till September.
Yeah.
But there's always that chance.
Well, there was a couple of bits on Collision that I thought were quite interesting. Apologies if people haven't seen Collision, but it was 2 days ago, so you should have seen it by now. So, meh. So CM Punk's golden outfit apparently was a bit of a nod to, or could have been a bit of a nod to something that Edge and Christian did years ago. I forget the name of like the spoofy characters or whatever, but they basically were just in like a full golden outfit. So that might have been, could have been, not saying it was, but you never know. These wrestlers are all quite cerebral with the little hints and the nods and stuff. So that could have been like an Edge like nod. But then also later on, JR name dropped specifically Edge. He said, I think it was a signed Christian, and then right after that he said I signed Edge at the same time too, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, I picked up on that as well. I thought that was a bit strange considering what's been going on.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the chances are of All Out?
I mean, never say never. You just don't know, do you? I mean, his contract apparently does run up until the end of September, is what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
But like, the man's like stupendously wealthy at this point. He could just buy out the last few weeks of his contract, maybe. Who knows, mate? Who knows? It could just be leaked that his contract runs till September. It might not. It could run out before that. But then the other thing on Collision, let me just go back to that, which the most like blatant thing, like Christian very rarely goes for the Edge style spear, especially in his heel era, which is great, by the way. I'm loving it.
Fantastic.
The turtleneck is just genius. But he went for one in his match with Darby Allin, so like, fans are very easily played. Let's be fair. We are. We won it all, and we won it yesterday, kind of thing.
They probably do it on purpose.
Exactly. Lead us astray. Get everyone going. Like
it's us talking. Yeah.
There was a lot of posts from CM Punk, wasn't there? Before he returned after the All Out incident, there was a lot of posts from him where he was like, you know, am I going to return? Am I not going to return?
Yeah. Ooh, what's going to happen, guys? Just tune in to find out. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's typical, isn't it? It was the same with FTR. Dax was playing everybody like a fiddle, and I was literally just sat back, cool as a cucumber, like, there's going to be signed with AEW. I'm just calling it. He's just working everybody. He knows exactly what he's doing. There was the contract with the WWE logo on the contract, just laid out on his sides, like carelessly left there for people to see. It's just these guys. They know what they're doing.
The little period of him having his podcast was he's really putting a few cats amongst the pigeons there, and you know,
I actually enjoyed that podcast, to be honest.
It was great. I had good fun with it.
Yeah.
He's very honest, and I appreciate that.
Definitely, especially with everything that's been currently going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of can't see the woods for the trees kind of things going on, especially with CM Punk, and like everything you read in the dirt sheets, so it's just like negative this, negative that, but it might not be that at all. It might just be a case of, right, well, we'll just kind of tell the dirt sheets this and we'll tell them that, and that way people are talking about AEW, perpetually so.
That's the thing. It's just nice to see people like getting into wrestling and talking more about wrestling. I mean, it's a sport that we all love, you know. Any publicity surely is good.
Yeah, I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, but apologies, but they was talking about like we're entering like a phase of maybe like neo kayfabe, where you're kind of, for the first time in a long time, no one's really quite sure, and you know, you're more established kind of journalists or reporters, even they're not as confident as they once were. You know, we've had with, you know, in the last 4 years, CM Punk, is he coming? Is he not? Cody Rhodes, what's he going to do? MJF, will he ever come back? You know, FTR to a lesser extent, we could kind of get a flavor, but it's, you know, even with you like looking at Jay Wyatt, you know, certain corners of the internet were, you know, and it's just great that kind of everything's kind of worked out pretty well. If you look at, I think we're 2 days to the day 2 years to the day that CM Punk they came back.
Yeah, very much so.
So that's a pretty cool. And where does the time go? But
I know, right? It doesn't feel that long, does it?
No, and after all, it's the kind of people are tempering the kind of excitement that we've all got for this weekend. The amount of times that people have written AEW off or any other competition to the major player is they're definitely not going to be around this time next year, and it's great to see that wrestling as a whole is doing. Look at the WrestleMania sales; it's going great guns, and it's nothing but great. We're gonna this weekend see wrestlers from Japan, from the UK. It's really it's
one of the Incredibles. Are you with us, Scott? Oh, we might have lost Mr. Scott. Ooh. Hopefully you can join. Oh, you're there, dude.
There he is.
You froze up for a second.
Oh,
there,
sorry,
dude.
man.
I thought we'd lost you.
Yeah, I was just saying. Basically, we're kind of like in a golden age of wrestling now, with all that's going on, and I think we'll look back on this in another 4 years and say, wow, that was kind of where, for we'll probably get onto this, but for the people saying, "Oh, who wants to see Chris Jericho?" All those people that are saying, "Who wants to see Chris Jericho?" They'll be singing Judas on Sunday. It's
definitely. No, I will be.
Yeah,
guaranteed, mate. Guaranteed. Yeah, for sure. I mean, AEW isn't 5 years old until the 1st of January next year, and for let's just say 4.5-year-old company. No 4.5-year-old company has any business selling 81,000 tickets, more or less, in Wembley.
And they also sold most of those tickets with no card as well.
Very true. Very true.
So I don't think anyone in the world could ever, claim to have done that. Any wrestling promotion.
It's mighty, 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 mighty impressive. It was mighty ballsy to book Wembley. Definitely. Straight out. I thought maybe they were on about Craven Cottage, weren't they? Fulham's ground.
Yeah.
But then I don't know what the capacity would. That would have been 20,000 at the absolute most. I'm not really sure.
I think it's about 23.
Yeah. I know it's one of the smaller ones, one of the smaller Premier League stadiums. But yeah, ball's on the table and it's paying off big time.
Definitely.
So. Absolutely amazing. Pro wrestling is alive and well, boys.
What were your first thoughts when you found out they booked Wembley?
I couldn't. My mouth my jaw hit the floor. I was just like, "Fuck it now, here we go."
I honestly expected. I didn't think there was ever going to book Craven Cottage. I expected the O2.
Oh right, yeah.
Honestly,
that makes sense.
Because you've got somewhat of a large capacity. You've got the history of the O2, and it's iconic in London. Mm-hmm. I never would have guessed Wembley ever.
Yeah,
I was shocked when they announced that.
Yeah, and I think we've had since '92, they got to come back to Wembley. Wrestling's got to come back, and that kind of optimism. I was reading an article about the '92 SummerSlam, and just the kind of when you think back to how big wrestling was in '92 in the UK, and you had records coming out from Simon Cowell and British Bulldog Bubble Bath in Woolworths. It's it was just saturated every level of pop culture.
Yeah.
And to think that we're kind of getting back to those kind of heady heights is pretty awesome.
Special time.
Definitely.
Hell yeah. And so at this point we should probably start running down the card because we've been talking for 21 minutes and not really got anywhere apart from just gushing about how much we love pro wrestling. We could probably go for another hour just doing that, but let's do the card, shall we?
That's it.
Right, so I've got a graphic with all the matches on, so I'm just going to start cards that I think might open the show, and then we'll build up to the bigger, more toisty matches. So, we'll start with the pre-show. That would make the most sense, wouldn't it? Right. So, yeah, the what's it called? 0 Hour. We've got Aussie Open versus Better Than You, Baby, for the ROH Tag Team Championships. I found this to be quite an interesting move, considering it's the two main event wrestlers. Let's just hope no injuries happen. What do we expect in this match, guys? Scott, do you want to go first?
Well, it's the first thing is it's really great to see that Aussie Open going to be, doing a homecoming. They've built their trade in London, the London shows, and around the UK, RevPro and various other promotions. I remember the first time I saw them live, and when I was new to them as a team, and I was thinking, what, these guys are they're I'm old school thinking they're the Australian team, they're going to be the heels. The whole crowd of in York Hall was absolutely buzzing. By the end of it, I was sold. I was like a massive fan of theirs. Yeah. Still am. It's great that they'll be doing this match. Well, how it's going to play out though, I'm not sure. We've got maybe the Kingdom, some interference there. I can't see them dropping the belts.
Way too soon.
So, yeah, it's maybe some interference, some shenanigans. Will play out to something later on the card. But no, just really happy to see the Aussie Open. I mean, it's hard to be cynical as a wrestling fan when, if you told me 18 months ago, 2 years ago, you'll be going to Wembley and you'll be seeing Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole in a tag team, you'd be like, you just, we're talking about going a bit crazy with dream bookings, but if anyone had told you that's what it was going to be, you'd certify them as crazy. That was just, that's some nuts stuff. So when people are kind of like maybe playing down the card, maybe it's a little bit disingenuous, because to me that kind of stuff is insane. This is and this is on 0 Hour. This is getting your bums in seats early. And it's only probably going to be one of the and that's the thing, isn't it? We're gonna you might get people in theory watching it on the YouTube and thinking, well, it's only down the road, tickets to 30 quid. If there's a few left, be part of history, soak up the atmosphere,
dust off the binoculars, get going.
Yeah. Or like, Eddie said, just how much long have you got? 5 minutes, buy the fucking
one of my favorite little promos ever. Shortest promos, but to the point. Buy the fucking pay-per-view. Yeah, good fun. Brandon, what you thinking, dude?
To be honest, I think for a show the size of Wembley, and obviously it's going to, as it stands right now, it's going to be the biggest paid wrestling show in history. I think for somebody to either go first on that pay-per-view or last is huge. And I think for two people to do both is, I don't even know if that's been done before in such a big event. So I think the opportunity for MJF and Adam Cole is huge, even just when it comes to that. Obviously there is the idea of the injury. Like, if something goes wrong in that match, what you're going to do for the main event. So I think it's a brave move, honestly. I don't think Aussie Open are going to drop the belts. And I think it's a big opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, for sure. One of the biggest stage of all time, mostly, isn't it? When you look at how it's being built and the ticket sales and stuff. So I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen here. It could be some kind of screwy finish, which would make sense because you don't really want either of the main event players to take a pin when you've got the main event still to come. You don't want to make either one of them look weak in any way. I have no idea, but I do expect Aussie Open to retain, so let's go with some kind of shenanigans, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure on this one, but it's going to be fun, very much very much fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Just quickly on that one, I think something that's quite interesting. They've only announced one match for the 0 hour. That means the match, it's probably going to be quite a long match.
Maybe so,
to fill the hour. So again, coming back to the fatigue thing, I'm not sure if that was maybe the best idea, but you never know, do you?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it feels, if there is going to be some, extra stuff in there.
I would like Danhausen to return and basically just have a conversation with RJ City in the middle of the ring. I would die laughing. I do really hope we get Danhausen in some capacity, because I miss him terribly, and Wembley would absolutely love to see him.
Yeah,
I think he'd get a big reaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a nice little surprise. So should we move on to, let's go with, this one's interesting. Right, so the Blackpool Combat Club and 3 mystery partners versus Eddie Kingston, the Lucha Bros, Orange Cassidy, and Best Friends in a, what is it? Anarchy in the Arena, Stadium Stampede. That's the one. My mistake. So yeah, it's going to be absolute chaos, this match. First of all, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. Who do we think the 3 mysterious silhouettes are behind the Blackpool Combat Club? Because I've got 3 names that stand out in my mind, and I would lose my shit if it was all 3 of them. And that is Proud and Powerful returning. And the other one would be Harry Smith, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yeah.
31 years after his old man main evented.
I think he's at Progress on the Saturday, so he's in town. He'll have his boots.
Yeah, for sure. Just imagine what that would mean to him, and just wrestling in general, for that moment to happen.
Yeah.
So, what about you guys? Have you got any other thoughts that who the mysterious people might be?
I've got well, I was thinking about this today, actually, because you were saying Santana Ortiz. There's some interesting chat about Ortiz having to knock back a booking this weekend for AEW commitments. Santana's been making sounds about coming back. They're one of my top tag teams. I really think those guys are great. Obviously, the injury didn't help, and according to Conan, they're still not talking. But a lot of things, according to Conan, just think the opposite, and that usually ends up what happens. So I was thinking that maybe my 3 would be Zach Knight, because he's making some posts about, less than a week, now's my time. He said before the only reason he hasn't fought before in AEW is visa issues.
Okay.
I think he's going to figure in that he's either going to be in there or 0 hour. I know, Jericho on his podcast promised Michael Oku a place on the card, so I'd be really interested to see where he's going to fit into things. But I would say Zach Knight, and then I was thinking maybe Gabe Kidd and Dan Maloney. There's obviously things with like factions and but I was thinking if Bullet Club and they could do maybe some VT of maybe on Wednesday or Saturday, or maybe when the collision goes out, they're over in England, they're looking for some local wrestlers, and then you've got 3 of like the toughest guys that the UK has to offer. They're doing great things, come off of some fantastic the guys in New Japan have been doing really well. Kev Kidd was probably like one of the wrestlers of the tournament. He's really come into his own. So
he kept sneaking up on people during the entrances.
And that's the thing, that he's
and
been
people
getting in
didn't
the practice.
Seem to realise.
He's been getting in the practice of running into the crowd. So just check behind you. You never know who might be popping up. But I'd be interested to see if they announce it before or they do it on the day. But I was just thinking, because I was expecting before it'd be more of a when like the Royal Quest shows where they have a lot of Rev Pro talent, and it's like almost like a Rev Pro New Japan Forbidden Door. I was thinking, well, maybe I was expecting a few more British names to have cropped up before now, and those three I think have had like a really good last 12 months. And obviously, with Zack Knight, he's got that kind of story in there with Saraya. He's got the, for him to, it kind of, and it's a really nice bit of storytelling. Like the guy that got knocked back by WWE time and time again is now coming out in front of 85,000 people. It's, and I think there's enough, it's a good story because of kind of one of the problems we have with Stadium Stampede and, these kind of matches is it's very hard to keep track on what's going on. So it'd be nice for the commentators to be able, they can tell a story with the backgrounds of these guys, and everyone else I could think of is like, oh, well, they're in chaos, so they want to be up orange. They're all. It's like that kind of thing. So it's gonna be fascinating to find out who it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brandon, have you got any hunches?
So yeah, I've given this quite a bit of thought, to be honest. Just before I get into who I think it might be, though, do you think the match will be like pre-recorded or done like there and then, like while the people are in there? Because I thought, it's one of the matches. Obviously, you're not going to see, maybe not going to see much of anything, depending on where you sat. So what are we thinking about that? Do you think it's going to happen there and then, or do you think it's going to be like pre-taped?
I think it's going to be done live there and then, but it's absolutely going to have to be a case of people that are in the stadium to then go back and watch it on Fight afterwards to know what the hell went on, like for like
definitely, yeah,
most of the other competitors. Because I don't know about you guys, but I took the plunge and got floor seats, so I'm not too far from like the entrance ramp and stuff. So there's a good chance I might get some Mox blood all over me. So yeah.
That's a really good point, because our point of view from beforehand is we've watched the telly broadcast, and some of those matches they just literally come out at the end for the finish, don't they? Where I'm hoping it's 50-50, because they're going to want to, Wembley's going to want to show off someone getting chucked through the merch stand, a Wembley pie in the face. There's a lot of, things like that.
There's a lot of really good things they could do.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Some cameos, there's going to be, And obviously I think if they, the more they record before, the less chance there is of it going wrong on the night.
Yeah.
I think, I think they'll try and mix it up. Maybe they'll disappear. It cuts to a pre-record. It comes out on the screen, and then they reappear towards the end.
That'd be cool.
I could see that, for sure. Interesting. So, who do we think is going to get the win in this match then?
So I think just going back to who I think will be in the match.
Of course.
I do actually think Zack Zodiac will play some kind of role in All In. Depending on where the matches go, like if that one comes first and then the women's match come later, I think that he'll be one of them in the three mystery opponents. But then I also think he'll have a hand in the women's match as well, aiding Saraya in capturing the world title.
Yeah.
Okay. The second person. Now I was giving it a lot of thought, because I'm not really sure who I think would turn up really, but I thought that maybe it's kind of out there, but maybe Nick Gage. I can see him teaming with Moxley and just getting that good
pizza cutter in everybody.
Yeah, just make him just a good time of it in general.
Sponsored by Pizza Express.
And the last one is Tomohiro Ishii.
Okay. On the heel side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. I think I don't know. I just feel like they would team up really nicely in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, but I don't know. It's been a fairly him and Kingston, who's on the opposite side. They've had quite a lot of bonding over the past few months, from the pre-show of Forbidden Door last year to they had a match at the G1.
Yeah.
They had a tag match after they'd both been eliminated from the actual tournament as well, and it was all hugs and all kinds of happiness and stuff. After they slapped each other silly last year.
That's why I think the choices for the teaming up will actually not even be announced until the match is going on.
Yeah, surprise.
And they'll bring the people out as the match is, as the wrestlers are coming out.
Yeah,
be cool.
And it'll be a surprise for everyone. And like, even Eddie Kingston is like stood there and he's like, "What's going on? I've been teaming with this guy." Well, we've had like good chemistry.
Yeah, sure. I like that. Brave call. I like it. I'm down with that.
The Eddie Kingston in Japan story has been like the feel good story of the summer, other than Adam Cole and MJF. I think when he went to meet he went to meet heroes at the various steakhouses and ramen shops around Japan, and they're all kind of like is he, and just a grin on his face. It's been really good seeing that, and he's one of the people I'm most looking forward to seeing. So let's hope they get stuck into the crowd.
Yeah, it's been good, and yes, I second that Kingston shout. It's been it's always good to see wrestlers fulfilling their dreams and having a smile on the face.
Yeah, definitely.
Kingston
did really well
smiles.
In the G1 as well. He absolutely killed it.
Yeah, he did.
Like I didn't get to actually sit down and watch much of the G1, but from what I've seen, he was really putting his heart into that.
I can't remember what night it was, but his match against Shingo was so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I think just the reaction he'll get in Wembley from like the UK crowd. I think we really appreciate like genuine characters, and we can really see through the BS. And
yeah, for sure. Happy days.
Folks like it. Not to knock out WWE, but Logan Paul was quite shocked the reaction he got at Money in the Bank, and I still don't think he sees that we genuinely are. If we call you a wanker, we mean you've got the other side where you have like an Osprey, and we'll love him one minute, we'll hate him the next, and he rolls with the punches, and he goes, "What do you want me to be today?" And we get that irony, and I think say the Australians, the Canadians, they've got more of our sense of humor. I think Eddie's such a down to earth guy. I think Wembley's going to really take to him. I think maybe BCC is going to win.
Yeah, I think they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, off the back of the last feud, wasn't it? It was the elite. The elite got the big win at the end, so I do feel like a big win. BCC is due, just to keep them on like a rolling level kind of thing.
Yeah. I to be honest, I can actually see it going the other way.
Okay.
Because All Out is literally like a week after. And then I think that would lead into something really nice into All Out.
Yeah.
With them having some kind of like death match, or like something really, really out there, which properly showcases everything.
I think that's one of the really interesting. The really interesting thing about this card is it could go both ways, and both ways work beautifully.
Yeah,
they really do further stories, and they're not. They won't be swerves. They're just options, and I think that's one of those things that AEW gets right quite a lot of the time. Seeing that the best friends are in town, I hope Sue has got a new. Maybe she comes in a London taxi.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, I'd be down for that. But just going back to Proud and Powerful, have them come out of All In if it is them, of course. But then have them come out feuding with both Best Friends and Lucha Bros and beat both, and reignite the fire that unfortunately just kind of fizzled out into nothing. Because for me, when it felt like Proud and Powerful were like kind of done, like dead in the water, they'd fallen out, and Santana got injured, and Ortiz just became anonymous amongst the rest of the card and stuff. It was like one of AEW's biggest missed opportunities, in my opinion.
Definitely.
I wanted them to be tag champs so bad.
Yeah.
It just never worked out. So if it is to be them, let's fucking do it properly. Let's go. So yeah, all good. Should we move on to the next match? So let's go with the women's four-way. Saraya, Shida, Storm, and Britt Baker, DMG, for the women's world title. Should be loads of fun, this, I think. Shenanigans and the Outcasts are hilarious. So, yeah, should be entertaining. Full-on entertaining. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the stuff that Tony Storm's doing at the moment is fantastic.
Listen, Toots.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. Again, we're talking about things you didn't see coming. That and it's. I think on the back of book the women's division better gate. I think it's the right. Let's let people do what they want to do. Let's build characters. Let's build story. Obviously, with the unfortunate injury for Jamie Hayter. Kind of derailed things a little bit, but I think they're coming back strong. I think it's going to be a fantastic match. I agree with Brandon that Saraya is probably going to win, with maybe help from her family. The Knights will probably be front row center. It's be a shame for Shida to, drop the title relatively, short into a run in front of crowds. But she'll get a great reception from the Wembley crowd, that's no doubt. And Saraya wins. Hayter comes back for a stare down, maybe. They'll both get the Wembley will just be going crazy for that. It's it's an interesting premise, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I hadn't considered that Saraya was going to win this match up until this conversation, but so fair enough, fellas. You've kind of swayed me towards Saraya. I can see that. I can see that legit going down. I just thought Shida's going to retain because it's so soon into her reign, but maybe it's because it's her second reign. She's like a transitional champ.
Yeah.
But then Saraya very rarely wrestles, so.
It's if they're going to go with that, or they're going to go with the moment of, she was retired and here she is, the champ in her backyard, 85,000 people. I think, it's the sequel to the movie that everybody knows, and I think I'm very guilty of this. Just seeing it through my wrestling obsessed lens of everyone knows everything about wrestling. People who may have only just seen the movie will pick up on this. It will be, in papers, in the news. It's something that people may catch up with after. Bring in a whole. One of the criticisms is with any new company is how do you expand it outside? You've sold 80,000 tickets. How do you sell the last 5,000? Seems to be you put Chris Jericho in on the headline, and people that remember him from watching him, myself included, through WCW, WWE, 30 quid see Chris Jericho at Wembley, boom, I'm there, and you've sold out. We're the guys that you don't need to convince. Take my money.
I was the guy as soon as the tickets went available on Ticketmaster, stressing the fuck out trying to get through because that website just melted down. Yeah. And I spent the next 10-15 minutes frantically trying to make it work and get in because it was not a fun time, but got there in the end. I was at work at the time as well, so I had to kind of sneak off and stuff. But when it happened, I was just like, yes, celebrating in the kitchen at work and stuff. So yeah, So I feel like Saraya's moment, if you want to call it that, is probably the way to go here. So yeah, you've twisted my arm. So fair fellas.
I think it's going to be quite an interesting match.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking on this as well, and I think there's a reason they actually gave it to Shida before what I think is going to happen, and Saraya takes it. I think that they have to like do it like that because I think they've still got more plans for the Outcasts, and if they didn't do it like that, then they would have had to have Saraya take it off of Toni Storm, and that could have potentially caused like rifts in the Outcasts.
Yeah.
And personally, I love the group. I think they're great. I think they've got some really good stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, made sense to drop to someone else and then later drop the title again on quite literally the biggest stage in wrestling history.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Plus, they've got the in-match advantage or disadvantage in having two in the same faction. Are they is one going to sacrifice for the other one?
Yeah,
potentially.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm down for that.
And it also really helps that kind of often forgotten trope of you become a bad guy and you bring your mates along, so you win easier.
Yeah.
So what Brandon said is, all adds. There will be a good outcome, I think.
Yeah, good stuff. And of course, we've mentioned her, but I just want to give a shout out to Jamie Hayter. The fact that she's, as it looks now, missing this show sucks so hard.
It does, definitely.
Yeah. The way I was looking at it was like, Storm is the champ. There's probably going to be a match All In, blah, blah, blah. Storm retains. Jamie Hayter's music hits. Out she comes, fake stare down and all that kind of stuff. But if we are to believe the reports that came out, Jamie Hayter's not going to be cleared till at least, was it October or December or something like that?
Yeah, around October, I think. Yeah. It's really, really, really sad because, she loves, you can tell she loves the English crowd. She loves the roots of wrestling. I actually got the chance to meet with her at the first 1PW show.
Yeah, I was there.
And you could tell, she had so much passion for the sport. She absolutely loves it, and it's just gutting to think that she's not going to be able to get on that biggest stage in her home country and bring it home.
Yeah. Was it Lizzie Evo that she faced on that card at 1PW? Because I remember being quite surprised that she came and put over the 1PW home talent and then basically became AEW Women's Champion like a month after the fact. I was like, it's great to see.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was Lizzie Evo. Shout out to Lizzie Evo.
No, it was Session Martina.
Was it? Yeah, Session. My mistake. Shout out to Session. Yeah, fair. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's was the first person that I thought of was that Ospreay and Hayter, and I'm thinking those guys in Wembley they deserve. They're the first two off the top of my head of people that I would like to see.
Yeah.
And for that to happen is really unfortunate. But hopefully she's well enough to come out, maybe sow some seeds, and this time next year, we'll probably be talking about Jamie Hayter in double this whole criticism of improve the women's division. Mm-hmm. Why not have a main event?
Maybe All In too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, as well, I'm quite disappointed about Pac as well.
I was gonna mention Pac. Yeah.
I thought he was gonna, have a really decent match at All In. Obviously, with him being a UK talent himself. I was really disappointed to hear that he got injured. But to be honest, seeing the match against Claudio at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, I was shocked. I was especially the spot where Claudio threw him out of the ring and then threw the table on the outside. I couldn't even watch. I just looked away because I just cringed so hard. It looked like a terrible bump.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was a great match, in fact. But yeah, Pac's one of my top 10, very nearly top 5 in the world. Absolutely adore the fella. I loved having him back for the Blood and Guts match and stuff. His entrance was very no frills, but I just loved the way he just kind of walked out of the shadows in the stands and just doesn't give a shit, and then just plods over to the ring like I'm not running for nobody. And huge fan. So yeah, I am very sad also that Pat got injured. I wish him well. So we mentioned Ospreay a few moments ago. So let's move on to the Ocho, Chris Jericho versus the Billy Goat, Will Ospreay, with obviously Don Callis looming large somewhere. What do we think is gonna go down here, Brandon? What do you think?
Honestly, this match I'm looking forward to most out of the entire card. Okay. I love both wrestlers. I got the chance to meet Will Ospreay at the 1PW show. He's just a great guy in real life, and he's just awesome to talk to. And Chris Jericho, I mean, I've watched him since I was little. I can't even remember the first time I seen him. So to think these two are coming together on a stage as big as this is just, I would have never even imagined this was ever going to be a possibility. So honestly, whoever, I've not even got a favorite to win. Like, whoever wins, I'm happy with. I'm just happy that I'm getting an opportunity to go to Wembley and watch these two, incredible athletes, incredible professional wrestlers have a match. I'm pretty sure for the first time as well. I don't think they've ever wrestled before. So
it was meant to happen in New Japan a few years ago, wasn't it? But then I think pandemic ground plans to a halt, which is why they've come back around now. With extra added spice, really, because there's the whole Callis family dynamic thing going on. Obviously, with the Kenny and Ospreay, there was Callis planting seeds and being a devious son of a bitch with Ospreay and stuff like that. So I did kind of have a little sneaky feeling that he was going to play some part in the whole family story and stuff. But I'm not yet convinced that he's going to be like a full member, because obviously he's got United Empire. He's the main guy. Very few people do two factions at the same time in two different companies. That would just be a madness. So I'm very intrigued to see how that all plays out. So yeah,
it's going to be a great match, whatever happens, And I wouldn't rule out the two factions thing. I mean, Darby Allin at the minute, look what he's doing at the minute, is effectively running two different storylines. So
okay, fair.
It's just going to be a great match. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, 100%, totally. It's like a dream match for Ospreay. He's going to give it his all. Jericho, he's one of all-time greats. There's going to be a lot of good back and forth between these guys in the week before. You got Jerry Goat and Billy Goat, and they're gonna give it everything. It's really interesting to see what shape Ospreay's in after the Rev Pro show the night before. That guy, he's like a machine. There was brief talk of maybe him going to WWE, and people say, well, he wouldn't be able to keep up the work rate. Obviously, those people know nothing, because he'll come back from Japan and he'll be fighting in York Order or like the 229 in London the next Sunday. He'll be there for the fans. The fans are there for him. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a great relationship between, today is the bad guy, today is the good guy. He's one of my all-time favorites, because he really knows how to interact with the crowd. As Brandon said, he's a great guy anyway. If you're lucky enough to meet him, bump into him at the show, he's always got time for the fans. And I think it's going to be a great showcase. But there are still people out there that don't know that we have, I would say, the greatest wrestler in the world, and he comes from down the road. So let's have him winning.
I would say very, it's got to be got to be top 3.
Yeah, at the moment, I think he's one of the easily wrestlers of the year this year. The amount of mileage the amount of mileage he's accumulated this year must be fucking ridiculous. Thousands of miles.
Yeah, and it's
plus he's got the match coming up as well. In November, October, with Marufuji.
That's the one. I was struggling to remember his name there. Yeah, for Noah.
That's like cool. That's like an unbelievable match that I never thought was ever going to happen, and it just feels like he sets his own bar, and then he breaks it, and then he sets a new bar.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how much like time you pay to the ratings from Dave Meltzer, but he was just given another 5-star for his match in the G1.
Yeah, and I think
great match.
He's getting those 5-star matches between people you've heard of and people maybe some people haven't, but he's bringing those names up. He's the Callum Newmans, and what the match I saw him with Michael Oko was still one of my favorite matches I've seen live. He's with Callum Newman sets a star in like New Japan now. It's like he's got one eye on his legacy. He's living in the present. He's still got a big future ahead of him, and he's doing, from what I can see, so much for British wrestling. I saw him fight Eddie Dennis in one of Eddie Dennis' last single matches, and he was talking to him in the ring, saying, come over with us. There's no hard feelings. Kind of, it was in character, but you could tell he really wanted Eddie. When maybe Eddie was, before he made that choice of going to become a producer at WWE, he's like, you still got it. You could still be the champ, and we all know how it played out. But I think he really cares about the homegrown aspect, why he chooses to live in the UK, but go haul all the way, all those what was it now, 15 hours to fly to Japan, 15 hours back, and then be wrestling after he's touched down on Wednesday. Like you do one of those long haul flights, just the jet lag alone lays most people out for a good few days, and he's back in the ring, and it's like he doesn't miss a beat. So him and Jericho, a lot of people say, no, it's not him and Omega, but I think we'll probably get see Ospreay and Omega. We'll see it. If they're not this time next year, definitely it will be in the UK, and we're getting it. There's still time, and I think with AEW, it's like you might not get it now, but it's coming. We like the Bucks and FTR. We do get there in the end.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a few short weeks after Ospreay and Omega had their first match at Wrestle Kingdom, he was up at 1PW in Lincoln having a 45-minute absolute barn burner with Robbie X.
I loved that match so much. It was amazing.
It was a star-making
I honestly don't understand how that didn't get five stars. Yeah. I would have given that 5 stars personally.
Yeah, it was incredible to see it live. It was, like I say, star-making match. If it was like on more of a platform rather than like on Fight Plus or whatever, more people would and probably should be talking about it, because it was incredible. And he had a match against 18-year-old Leon Slater fairly recently as well. So he's making those stars, like you say. So
I did see clips of that match.
Yeah, I've not seen much of it.
Right.
Yeah, if it's the one, is it your call?
I think so. Yeah,
I saw that, and it was some of the stuff. Leon Slater, he's always impressed. Every time I've seen Leon Slater, he's 18. It's unbelievable.
Wild how talented he is.
And people are talking about, quite rightly, like Nick Wayne. I think Leon Slater is, he's there. He's just got a natural talent, and that fight was incredible. And we're talking about maybe people haven't been announced yet turning up. I think Leon Slater at Wembley in some kind of match, maybe like a UK based, if there's a 4-man or Rumble or something, he deserves that stage at such a young age. He really is a fantastic prospect for the future. And and I think you kind of find that the people that Ospreay wrestles with are the people that keep an eye on this guy, and he's very rarely wrong, is he?
Yeah, for sure. Boisterous Behaviour are one of my favourite tag teams. I always enjoy seeing those lads do what they do. Lots of fun. Who do we think is going to get the big win here?
I'll go Ospreay.
I agree. What about you, Brandon?
Honestly, I think Ospreay.
Yeah.
I think it could. I think it's going to be one of those matches where there's going to be more false finishes than enough. But I think Ospreay will just scrape the win. Is there any kind of stipulation in place for the match?
No, it's just a one-on-one.
Just a regular 3 count.
Yeah.
So I think Ospreay then. Yeah, it makes sense with it being his country, his stage. And let's be fair. I mean, he made a comment about personally working to try and elevate the UK wrestling scene after the pandemic, and I don't think you can argue with him. I think he has carried UK wrestling on his back for the last couple of years, and he's done a phenomenal job of it.
Yeah. And like you were saying about going to Japan for his dream match, he's going to want to be coming out of the biggest show he'll do before then, looking strong. And I think, Jericho's. He like you said, I think you're right. Call a lot of false finishes. Jericho's going to come close. He's going to look great. The moment he's in an odd place where he's kind of like he really is.
Seems Scott's frozen a little bit here. Hopefully he'll burst back into life in a moment.
Yeah. Hello.
Do we have you, Scott? You froze for a moment there, dude.
Oh, sorry.
Do you want to finish up what you were just saying?
Yeah, I just.
And he's gone again. It's going well.
Oh, dear. Am I back?
Yeah, you're there, dude.
Yeah. No, I think he's on his own, but that's going to be an interesting. Because usually he'll have some interference and people will help him. So it's going to be interesting because he's kind of almost like the underdog, which is again strange for Jericho.
Yeah. I mean, the JAS obviously fell apart, but has it? We'll find out, I guess. I kind of hope it has. It's run its course for me. I kind of want to see all the members going off and do their thing. I want to see 2.0 be a tag team again. I want to see Garcia just be a wrestler again. And Guevara, he's good at what? Yeah, Guevara. He's good at being Guevara. Let's say that.
Maybe we'll have an inner circle reunion.
Ooh, interesting. No, I am intrigued to see if there's any more of the Don Callis family kind of dynamic. Is there going to be more members debuting or revealing themselves or whatever? That should be interesting. I think I'll probably go for Ospreay as well, because it wouldn't make sense for Jericho to beat Ospreay at the moment. Moving swiftly on. As was confirmed on last weekend's Collision episode, within the first 2 minutes of the program airing, Pepsi Phil versus Samoa Joe is on. What are we thinking, guys? I'm a bit. I don't know what it is about CM Punk. I was so ecstatic that he was back. I'm buzzing off all the matches and all the feuds and the MJF feud and this, that, and the other. But then Brawl Out killed me. It killed me to the point of almost tearing my hair out kind of thing. Since then, I've kind of learned to take a step back and not really pay that much attention to the dirt sheet, so it served its purpose. But it hurt me. It really, really hurt me. I just didn't want all that negative stuff circulating and flying around, and it just didn't need to be there and stuff. So since he's come back, he's just kind of been there for me. I don't really feel much when his music hits or comes out. I don't know about you guys, but I am yet to feel that. Holy shit, CM Punk. I mean, Sunday's probably going to be that moment because it'll be the first time I'll have ever seen him live. So, but as a viewing fan, watching the weeklies, yeah, I am yet to feel excited in any way to have him back on the AEW TV, to be honest with you. So, yeah, with that, what do you guys think about this match? Scott, do you want to go?
Yeah, I think like you when it happened, I was going like, well, fuck this guy, you know. Like you're sat there and you're basically just, you know, for a company that was, you know, we were talking about when Cody left and, you know, EVPs are leaving and and then you've got this on top and it's like, well, it was nice while it lasted. And I was like, oh, you know, really quite annoyed. But then I've kind of like, you know, my partner's pointed out to me, like, sometimes you're a miserable old git. And you'll sound off about, you know, what you don't like about, you know, maybe your day at work or what have you. I mean, I'm not going to bury the company in front of a viewing audience of millions. You know, I might have, you know, had a bad train journey home and be like, oh god. But then I was like, oh well, you know, I kind of, and as I get older and more grouchy, I kind of get sympathetic and give him I just keep giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's like one of those friends you have around where you know he's a bit of a jerk and an asshole, but he's got heart, and you kind of know under it he's not really all that. He's just having a moment, and then everyone else is like, "Why do you still hang around with that guy?" You know, the Young Bucks seem like much nicer people, and you know, everyone loves Hangman. I mean, I love Hangman. He's great. You know, he's such an underrated. And we'll get onto him. He is such an underrated character. Just you know, from last week where he's back on the drink and stuff like that. There's still so much to be mined there storyline wise. I sometimes think, again, maybe this is why I sympathise with CM Punk. Sometimes he'll make jokes which just land a bit wrong, and maybe in my younger days I would have done that as well. So maybe I'm just giving him too much, but I just want it to be over. I think, you know, the stories that are coming out, I try and ignore them. It's just exhausting.
Very much so.
And I think, you know, depending on who you believe, I do think after listening to the FTR podcast, there is a certain element which is basically looking just to stir it all up again. And I think that's them kind of maybe being dissatisfied that because there was a legal stipulation where they couldn't talk about it, these guys weren't getting a story they wanted. And you know, he might prove me completely wrong, and yeah, he might destroy AEW. But I think it kind of makes it exciting, whether we're dancing with the devil here and playing with fire. It goes back to one of the things I said earlier. We're in that element now where, is it real? Is it not? Are we in a new era of kayfabe, or am I just trying to convince myself again, like I was with Cody? He knows what he's doing. The discussions I had with my friends, you know, Cody is, oh no, he's turned heel. It's just not everyone's caught up yet. And Cody recently came out and said that, but it didn't matter at the end. He still had to leave. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see how the match is going to go, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think the crowd reaction is going to be the story of this match, at least the first half of it. Would he get cheered? Would he get booed? I don't know. Will the event take over your emotions and you're singing along to Cult of Personality? You know, but then again, Samoa Joe, again, you know, flashback to him standing in that poncho in the torrential rain. You know, and you're thinking, they've done you dirty, Joe. What's happening here? And then,
oh mate,
fast forward, we're going to see him at Wembley against CM Punk, which is stories of Ring of Honor history. And I'm just trying to remain optimistic. You know,
Yeah, for sure. I had my reservations when Joe debuted with AEW, especially when he was the babyface character, because I just don't think it was working. But this heel Joe is a gift. He's an absolute gift, and long live Joe. So yeah, Brandon, any thoughts?
So for me, growing up, CM Punk was maybe my number one, number two favorite wrestler ever. Along with like Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, and Triple H, they were like my favorites. So to see him live is just unbelievable. Honestly, like we all thought he was never coming back. You know, when everything happened with WWE. So to see him, it's something I could have never imagined. I think with the whole situation after All Out, it just got to a point where it was just hard to keep seeing all the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love Punk and the wrestler he is and what he brings to the table, it just got to a point where I was just like, you know, either bring him back or just let him go, because I don't want to keep seeing this on this company that I've literally watched grow from day one.
Yeah, day one fan also.
It's just, you know, it's just not nice. Like, I don't know, like seeing what he's doing now is really, it's made me feel better about the whole situation. Seeing the run he's on now with the so-called Real World Championship, I think that's great. I love that. Obviously, that's leading to a match with MJF, which, you know, again, I think is going to be potentially match of the year, depending on the stipulation. Like, are they going to do dog collar again? Are they going to do some kind of death match? Maybe an Iron Man match? That'd be really cool to see. Because we know that MJF, it can go in the Iron Man matches. So I'm not sure. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think I've got a lot of history with him. It's just nice to see him back, see him competing, see him on a stage as big as this. And honestly, I just hope that all of the negativity just stays there. You know, doesn't go any further. Just leave it there. You know, I know that there's been some rumblings about backstage, like confrontation between him and some others, but like you say, I think it's just people trying to make a story. You know, I go on YouTube every day and there's a new video, or CM Punk did this, or CM Punk's done that, and I just think like there's no need.
Yeah,
you know,
channels do it on purpose because they know people will click on that shit because they just love all that negative stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry to interject.
It's just not nice. It's not nice to see. You know, we got All In 2018. It changed the wrestling game forever. You know, whether people like to admit it or not, it did. And then you've got the start of AEW and everything they've done since. And I don't know. I just would I'd prefer it if it was just more positive. Because let's be fair, we all love the same thing. You know, whether you're CM Punk or the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega or FTR, they all get in the ring for the same reason.
Yeah,
and I just wish we could get behind that.
Yeah, and I think also, I totally agree. I think it's interesting as well when you remember when the Bucks and Kenny came back and they had that match and they were making a lot of digs.
Yeah,
a lot of wink, literally going in at the camera, and that kind of went, Meltzer Alvarez, fine. CM Punk comes back and makes not a great joke about action figures, and this is it. That news story was kind of trending over Jey Uso.
I think it's, if I'm honest, I think it's due to the position that the elite hold in AEW versus CM Punk coming from WWE, leaving in the way he did. Probably, let's be honest, probably pissed a lot of people off, leaving the way he did. And then you've got the the nature of CM Punk. He was very outspoken. If he thinks something, he'll say it. He's not afraid to voice his opinion. And I'll be honest, people don't like that.
Yeah.
People don't like it when someone will just say something just because it's the truth and attach no emotion to it whatsoever. People don't like it, and while it might not be the best option all the time, you've got to use your common sense. Sometimes things need to be said.
Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it, between being a punk and I say what I like and I don't care and I like what I say, and also the consequences of your action. And hopefully he'll come out and have a great match at Wembley. I think a lot of the fallout was him being mad at himself that he knew he was injured again. I just hope he's in a better place and he and the crowd are with him. And obviously Joe, everyone loves Joe. They're both going to tear the house down if they're going to have a good match, in my opinion. And he'll think, right, I could have fucked this all up from having a pissy moment and eating muffins and how stupid. And he'll never admit it. I think he's too proud to do that. And pride before a fall. But I think in his heart of hearts he'll think, right, I need,
Oh, we lost him again.
Damn. The old freeze screen.
I thought it was going to be my internet going out as well.
You dropped off a little bit again there, Scott.
I was, no, but I was just saying that he'll I think he'll try and make amends, try and reach people and build some bridges back. And if they don't want to meet him, they don't want to meet him. Just be professional, get on with your work. We all experience people like that we've worked with in our careers. Not everyone's going to like you. You can only do your best to kind of be chill and say sorry, extend the olive branch. If they don't want to know, move on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, it happens, doesn't it, right? So, should we move on to another match anyway?
Sure.
Who do we think is going to get the win here? I think it's quite obvious. It's going to be Pepsi Phil. Are you guys in agreement?
I actually think I think Samoa Joe, to be honest.
Okay.
And this is why I think that. So right now, CM Punk's reception from the crowd is mix and match. It's a bit of here, a bit of there, mostly not cheers. Let's be honest. I think by allowing Samoa Joe to go over on a stage like that could be a way of repairing any potential damage that would have been given to the AEW audience from the whole situation. CM Punk's like, I'm not afraid to let the other guy go over in the biggest match of my career. I'm not afraid to make the sacrifice for wrestling. And then I think that's going to lead into a world title match at All Out. And then I think CM Punk's going to pick up the win. Not the world title, the television title. I think that's going to lead to a television title match for Samoa Joe's belt, and then CM Punk's going to pick the win up at All Out.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, good call. I was thinking, it's probably Punk, but then thinking it that way, I'll go with the with Joe, and maybe it will ingratiate CM Punk to some of the people, being humbled on the biggest stage. Maybe that's the punishment, quote unquote, that he needs to take to kind of be like saying sorry without saying I'm sorry to like 85,000 that have, he really did, give two fingers to and was like, but like I say, we all make mistakes and there's always forgiveness, and let's all try and reach out our hand of forgiveness to Punk. And let's all, if we can do it, he can do it with Kenny the Bucks, and it's whether that match ever happens, I think this could be the first step towards that.
Yeah,
I think it will eventually. It has to. It's money, and even for everything that's gone down, for AEW to not act on that would be a mistake. And there's a lot of potential there with CMFTR and the Elite, and just Punk and Kenny in a singles match would just be well good.
it would be wild. And let's be honest, they've already took a step towards that.
Yeah.
With FTR versus the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think we was ever going to see that match after what happened. We had the division, you had the two sides forming, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And on one side you have FTR and CM Punk, the other side you have Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And to see some of those parties actually come back together and work a match as big as that, it does give you hope.
Yeah, sure. I mean, seeing as we've segued rather smoothly, thank you very much, Brandon. Might as well discuss that match furthermore. So, Brandon, have you got any more thoughts on the tag team title match?
I think like I said before, I think it's going to be one of those matches that bridge a bad situation. So you've got the all of the bad press, whatever you want to call it, with the two parties, and I think this match is just going to be a great match for one. I mean, let's not forget you've got two of, if not the best tag teams ever. Going at it in the biggest stadium in the UK in front of the most people ever. So it's going to be an amazing match, but I think it's going to be one of those moments where it's like, it's just nice to see. After everything that's gone on, you watch it and you think, this feels right.
Yeah. Just get back to doing pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Just forget all the noise.
The thing that we all love. The thing that brings out 80-something thousand people, and all the stuff. This one sport that everyone loves, and I think in terms of who's going to win, I think it's probably FTR. I can't see him dropping the titles.
Not yet.
But I do think it's potentially gonna be one of the biggest tag team matches of the year. I do think the ending though won't be as clear as everybody thinks. Now, I potentially think CM Punk might have something to do with the ending, and potentially cheat for FTR, and then FTR pick the win up, and then that will start something off with, potentially CM Punk and the Young Bucks, maybe Kenny Omega. I think that'd be a really nice moment to put that in there and to start something up.
I'm absolutely down for that. So maybe it'll come true. Sounds spicy for sure. So yeah.
I just, to that point, I think with all the drama that's gone on before, this is maybe going to be one of the most pure wrestling tag team matches we'll see. I think those guys are fantastic. It's with the name calling and the drama off screen and stuff, it's very easy to overlook just how good the Bucks are, how good FTR are. They're in this spot for a reason. It's the rubber match. It's I think they say 8 years in the making. Since they first called out the Bucks, and that's kind of what I kind of get a bit taken aback when I read there's no build to any of these. This is just a house show. Yeah, okay. Tell me that before it was announced that hey, would you like to see FTR versus the Bucks? Yeah, I would. Yeah. Oh, how about in England? Oh, that's not bad. I could just get the train. Oh, it's going to be at Wembley Stadium, Wembley Arena. No, Wembley Stadium. Oh, well, now you're just great. You're just talking crazy, because that's never going to happen. And we're getting it, and it's being dismissed again, disingenuously maybe. Oh, it's just a house show. Oh, you can see the Bucks anytime. And I saw FTR fight Aussie Open at Raw Quest 2.
Oh, what a match!
my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for like the last half of the match, everyone was just on their feet, and we didn't. I think FTR themselves said, you know, it wasn't until you watch it back and you realise, yeah, everyone was on their feet, and I think this is what's going to be. Everyone in Wembley is going to be on their feet. It's going to be a long old day, and under no illusions, but I don't think anyone's going to be feeling tired when those two teams are going at it. I think it's going to be pure adrenaline, and it's going to be in the back of everyone's minds, the drama, and I think that'll just be forgotten. And I think, you know, we're looking at, you know, something that, you know, is going to be up there with some of the great matches we've seen. You know, obviously the Briscoes, FTR, you know, they're looking to cement their legacy as the greatest of all time, and yeah, they're not messing around. And I was just glad that it seems, yeah, everything's okay. We're going to get the match. FTR are back in AEW. The Bucks are talking and fighting and willing to work with them. Yeah, there's no downside. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, let's just hope there's no last minute drama with regards to Cash Wheeler and his issues with the law and stuff in the States at the moment, because that would suck wholesale if that match was to be pulled from the card.
How you guys, like, when how did your stomachs flip when you saw that news, when you put your phone on and you were like, saw that headline, you were like, you're shitting me, right?
Yeah. It was my stomach was somersaulting, not just flipping.
Yeah.
I've heard that everything seems to be okay though, because apparently the incident happened. Was it the end of
July? I read.
End of July, yeah. So it's been quite a good couple of weeks between the time when it happened. So, and apparently he's not had his passport revoked, so he can still travel. But you know, and they're speaking on Collision, aren't they, though? So I guess we'll find out more.
And they're on Dynamite this week, so as well. So that all indicates positive stuff. So let's just hope that that's the case. So are we all going for an FTR victory?
Yeah.
Shenanigans, maybe. I can see that happening for sure. So yeah, should we move on? I've just realised we've been going for 82 minutes, fellas, and we've still got 3 matches to discuss.
We'll be going on for longer than the pay-per-view at least.
Yeah, 7 hours later. So let's go with Sting and Darby versus Swerve and AR Fox in a tag team coffin match, right?
Yeah.
That's tiny little writing. Yeah, it is. Coffin match. So, wow, it's been quite the rise to prominence for AR Fox, right? He's been in AEW for less than a year, and then suddenly he's performing in front of 81,000 people. Must be mind blowing for him.
Yeah. And great that he's kind of slotted in so well. Obviously, you know, he's got a history with Swerve, and just all of a sudden, the conversation has moved on from when is he going to fight Keith Lee, and people are talking about new things for Swerve Strickland, and we seem to have those days of the Parker Boudreaux, and Trench is obviously gone.
Yeah.
That really was. I didn't think anything could hurt that guy, but that was really making it painful for me. And Swerve's one of my favorite characters to watch.
I agree absolutely. I was not that big on the two meatheads with Swerve. No. The whole Mogul Embassy thing is much improved. Improved. And the addition of AR Fox was spot on for me.
The beatdown when they went to the gym of Nick Wayne was, again, I was like, oof. I was surprised that didn't get more, I don't know, maybe I just didn't read it, more negative press, because that was quite, I found it quite a hard watch. It was pretty gritty.
It was, definitely. I think there was a lot of negative comments online about that. Someone called it like the most brutal segment in AEW history, which I think is quite a bold claim, but I don't think you can argue against it, to be honest.
No, It was gritty in a good way, but it just kind of, I think the rest of the episode was quite happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
And this was just like I think it was like a knuckle to the face, wasn't it? It was woo, and that's what's great about Swerve. And and the other thing is, I love it when Nigel McGuinness says Prince Nana as Prince Nana. That was brings up. But again, we got Joker Sting. Again, another thing that like tick on the wish list of things you'd like to see.
I absolutely loved that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that promo was so good. Like he's got that character down so perfectly. So yeah, I mean, let's just talk Sting for a minute. Like the guy's 64 years of age, and obviously he's the best days are behind him. But like he has literally provided AEW's some of the best moments ever, mostly with diving off 20 feet fucking balconies and shit, because that's what 60-plus-year-old people do these days. But yeah, what an absolute legend, and to see him live is something I never thought would be possible ever. No. Never ever. So like, hell
it
yeah.
It is an absolute dream. Obviously it's been going so long, and I think, to be honest, I think as well, like, do you remember when Ric Flair had his last match? It was like 73, I think, 72. And then you look at him in that match, and then you look at Sting, and it's like 8 years younger, and he's going like he is still, and he's about to go to the biggest wrestling show.
Yeah,
I still, like, even in his current form, I still don't think he gets enough credit.
Yeah, he kicks ass. All things considered, and yeah, that Ric Flair match, the less said about it, the better. To be fair,
that was scary.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
Yeah, he blacked out twice, I think.
Yeah,
it was very hard watch for me.
I thought he was dead. Outright thought I'd just watched an old man die in a ring wrestling ring.
Yeah, and there was even talk of him talk of him going again, doing another one, and I'm just like.
Yeah,
I won't be watching that one.
No chance.
There's no stopping like some people that need to stop, and there's no stopping some people that you just want to keep going. Like we mentioned, Edge. I hope it's not the last we see of him. He's still got, obviously what he wants to do, but to see him and Christian back would be a dream. And with Sting, the fact that we can see Sting in Wembley. He's holding his own. He's, when you kind of look at the way legends were treated, maybe back in the day, pre this mentoring role, Jake the Snake. I hope he can make the trip to Wembley because another one of my childhood heroes. But you're seeing, you see the meme. It was like how long Sting's been going, and they've got like him in the Nintendo game and him in Fight Forever.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And you go, oh, okay, but he still sounds young, still looks young, still can go. Him and Darby fit together so well. They've had so many great moments, and I think, like you were saying, guys, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. It's almost kind of like, oh, he can do that still, and now it's kind of like, oh yeah, he can do that still. But the thing is, you're still interested. It's not like he's a novelty or a charity act that they just wheel out. And everyone goes, oh, a bit like Ric Flair. Oh, that was nice. He didn't die. Good job. He's phenomenal. And, it's just a shame we didn't get to see him and Cody, because I think that was probably the biggest loss of, Cody going to WWE was there was meant to be a program of him versus Sting. And hopefully one day there can be, because,
wow,
it just writes itself, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah, for sure. So who do we think is going to pick up the win here?
Got to be Sting, surely. Yeah. Sting and Darby.
Yeah. Full house for me, for sure.
Yeah. I just really hope someone flops in that coffin as well as Brody King did that time, because that was just, when he just pops up and flows into the coffin, I was just like, that could have gone wrong. That would have been Botchamania for like opening credits for the next 5 years had that gone wrong, and that just worked perfectly. So yeah, it's it's got a spectacle, and let's hope Sting wins. It doesn't look like he's gonna. I think Bischoff was saying this. He better retire after this. But
Bischoff needs to retire.
Yeah.
Can't stand that fucking idiot.
No, he kind of brightened up on AEW when it looked like he thought he might get a job on Collision. And then when I think he realized he wasn't, he's gone back to, they're going to shit the bed. And it's like, well, if anyone knows about shit in the bed, it's probably Eazy-E.
Well, if anyone knows about shit in the bed, it's him.
Exactly.
So yeah, fuck that guy. Anyway, yeah, unanimous. I think, Sting and Darby pick up the win. And the stadium just erupts and stands up and applauds, mostly Sting, but Darby also. And for me as well, what a moment for Swerve and AR Fox as well in their careers to have performed in front of such a huge stadium full of people.
Yeah,
so great stuff. Swerve's so good.
It kind of makes you wonder how it's. I mean, obviously these guys and those strangers are big crowds, but it kind of makes you wonder how they're going to react when they get. Because I've got no doubt we're going to give them probably the best reaction of any AEW, just not in volume, but just knowing how good British fans are.
Yeah.
The fact that when you see FTR in the UK, "Ooh, FTR" is a chant, and it doesn't seem to translate to the States. And they kind of they were looking around like, "Oh, that's a good one. We like that." They appreciate that we sing along. We've got that football kind of crowd in us, haven't we? And come Monday, I think I'm going to have to speak for a week. So
yeah, it's going to be a challenge to tell people about it because there's going to be no voice there. I'll just have to type it. Yeah. So so that leads us on to our penultimate match, which is the match I'm most looking forward to on this card, and that is the Golden Elite of Hangman Kenny and Kota Ibushi versus Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and Juice Robinson and Takeshita. Like, holy shit! What a fucking lineup, dude! Like, seriously, I was getting a bit sad that Bullet Club Gold weren't going to be on this card, and then suddenly they are, and I'm just like, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Jay White all in one match. I'm just going to melt down. Completely melt down during this one. So wow. What do you guys got any thoughts on this one? Because I can't fathom any sentences right now other than just holy shit and wow.
It's definitely another unbelievable match. No one would have ever put this match in together, let alone in Wembley. I'm not sure. I'm really lost for words, to be honest.
Yeah. I think it's really cool the way you have Kenny with his two best tag team partners in that. That was one of the things I'd never even thought of. When they said it, I'm like, oh, of course. And that's something that I don't think I've seen done in this kind of scenario where you have a trios team, but they've got that connection. Kenny and Ibushi, Kenny and Hangman, and then with the history of Jay White going for Kenny, I saw a lot of people saying, "Hey, why did Jay White?" And again, when I was watching it with my partner, I was like, "Well, Bullet Club." Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, Bullet Club seems to explain a lot. She says to me, I'm like, "Well, yeah, but it fits so nicely." And Jay White, again, there's been a lot of people. Oh, they're wasting Jay White. He should have done this. He should have done that.
No, it's great.
He's on a great. I think he's on a great run.
I love
he's
it.
Fantastic.
I love it. It's so good.
I just hope they sell Card Blades. Card Blade is the breakout. He's so great.
Funny. I love
it. And just the rub they give into the Guns, who also I think again they've done so much for AEW through the pandemic times. They're not everyone's cup of tea, but I think they're a fantastic heel. People say I don't like the Guns because they annoy me and they're bad guys. Well, they're doing their freaking job.
That's what I'm there for,
Takeshita as well. Phenomenal. that team is one you probably would never put, and that's why I think Tony Khan gets maybe accused of not being such a good storyteller and maybe more of a matchmaker, but these matches are incredible. So I don't really need
so much history here. I mean, obviously, like Kenny and Takesto, there's like 9 years of history there. Obviously, the Golden Lovers right there. There's the Hangman and Kenny. There's Jay White and Kota Ibushi had one of my favorite New Japan matches ever in the G1 final. I can't remember what year was it, 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Much history. You just got to look.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like even if you didn't watch it back then, there is YouTube, there is programming out there. That's when kind of people talk on social media and they act like they don't know what a YouTube is or a quick Wikipedia or a Google search will return. I know that they could probably do more, and I think now that you have Collision and Dynamite, shows are breathing more. And they are mentioning, because they're not having to rattle off, the old cliche of and things are breathing more.
Excalibur, like not breathing for 5 minutes.
Poor guy.
It's a skill. It's a skill, very much so.
Yeah, but it's going to be amazing.
Impressive.
I definitely think this match will get the biggest pop from the crowd. I think the crowd's going to react the most to this match out of the whole card.
Do you think maybe there's going to be a lot of fans coming over from Japan to see Ibushi and Omega?
Yeah,
again,
100%.
Yeah,
I saw this on this forum the other day. There was people from Spain, Italy, Germany, like everywhere flying in for this.
I saw Canada, someone from Canada flying over, which I was very impressed by, to be fair.
It really is. Like I know it's like a UK show, but it really is a global event. This.
Yeah, it's gonna be grand.
That's everything you need to know.
Try these people trying to tell us it's a glorified house show.
No,
it's a big house.
Don't see house shows with numbers like this.
No, or talent like this, or stories like this, or history like this. It's incredible. But people like us who are into the history, we were into the G1 and stuff like that. We'll have that with us. You can rock up on a day, buy a ticket on the door, buy a ticket this week, and you will see one of the greatest things you've ever seen. And then you'll become a fan, and then you'll go back, and then you'll, either take it or leave it. But I think a lot of people will be taking it, and for a 4-year-old company, it's always a thing. Is they're only 4 years old, and yeah, they are. But there's so much, and that's one of the refreshing things now is we can talk about wrestling and embrace the whole kind of history about it without saying, oh yeah, that kind of stuff didn't happen because we don't talk about that. It's a different thing. I think that's great. And hopefully, you never know, one day we might have that WWE AEW supercard. It can happen,
I would love to see that, honestly.
It'd be amazing.
I just can't see past Triple H just wanting every winner to be the WWE competitor. So
to be fair,
that would be the only way that would ever work.
I think it's a lot more likely now after the Endeavor acquisition. I think whenever it was owned by Vince, that would have been very, very unlikely. But I think seeing something like that, and especially after the success of All In, I think you'd be daft not to want to come together and do an event together.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, and help kind of stop the tribalism, because tribalism on either side just leads you down trying to defend some pretty stupid stuff sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah,
really weird. I just don't get it. I get it for football and stuff because but like for wrestling, it doesn't make sense. No. Like I support this corporation so hard that I'm gonna basically take a piss on everything else. Like so many other companies out there that are doing great things. Like Impact's killing it, New Japan's absolutely killing it. I am obsessed lately. Rev Pro Progress, GCW are killing it. So you know what I mean. There's so much to watch.
Just about being a fan of wrestling,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, if we're all sitting around here talking about what company's going out of business, you'd be a lot less happy, wouldn't you? You know,
dark times.
we
exactly.
really are spoiled, and it really is a good time. And the competition, it's fierce, and it's really good stuff. When Cody moved to WWE, and everyone's like, well, maybe this is the end. I think, well, maybe this is the beginning. It's inevitable. People are going to change companies.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestlers are going to hang out outside. They're all buddies outside. So it just doesn't make sense to me when you kind of like would attack a stranger with a personal insult for holding a different view. And also, if you're going to like poke fun at someone who's a billionaire that's never going to read it, it's not punching down. You can make a joke about Vince McMahon, but then you recognize that you probably wouldn't be reading that anyway if it wasn't for Vince McMahon. It's nuance, isn't it? And like with everything on social media, that kind of is the first victim of any discussion.
Yeah, I think people just love to like live in misery.
Yeah,
and they choose sides to die on for some reason. But just support pro wrestling and be happy.
Yeah.
So you can choose one. You can choose one football team, but you can't choose. Just choosing one wrestling company is stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's so much crossover as well. So what's the point? What is the point limiting yourself? But hey, so then that leads us to who do we think is going to win? Sorry, just before we move on to the main event, the Golden Elite guys or the Bullet Club Gold size? What do you think?
I think it's kind of a tough one, to be honest, but I think I've got to give it to the Golden Elite.
I think so too.
Just for the fact that I think they're going to get the biggest reception. That they've got so much history that goes all the way back to, I'm not sure when, but I know they've got some serious history behind them. The other team, I think that Jay White and Juice Robinson really, like, they're a fantastic team, and then you add Takeshita in there, another amazing talent. But I can definitely see the Golden Elite getting the win and going over on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think they'll get the big moment. What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I'm torn. I think it probably will be Golden Elite, but I can see Bullet Club Gold nicking it just for to set something up for the following All Out.
The Golden Lovers versus Bullet Club Gold. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Gold versus, we talk about steel sharpening steel. Gold meets gold, and I was just thinking about it earlier. Like, you have, you got your BCC, you got your Bullet. You could potentially have members of Bullet Club turning up, Bullet Club Gold, and on the other side, they've done really well building up, like, Chaos, things like that. It's and now there's a kind of momentum and like this kind of looking ahead to Forbidden Door 3, hopefully All In 2. We're looking, and the Bucks and the Elite, they're really good at storytelling. The Hangman story was phenomenal one, probably my favorite story.
Hangman won the title eventually. Like I did a little cry.
Yeah, I mean, when he came out with the Dark Order and the spotlights came on, that's still my
entrance.
Favorite. Yeah,
the entrance. Oh fuck yeah! When like it's on either side, and then he just walks down the middle.
Yeah,
like it was. Yeah,
and that just makes me like again hyped for what entrances. With the production at Wembley. Are we going to get maybe some bands? Or I think are Living Colour going to be there for CM Punk? What kind of, because they're going to turn them up to 11. Fozzy are in town with Jericho. Will they be playing live when he comes out? I think it's going to be like one of my favorite things about AEW is sometimes you could just sit back and listen to the entrance music, and it's like it hasn't been this good since like the glory days like of WWE and Jim Johnson. Yeah, there's such a lot of good stuff.
Mikey Ruckus is killing it.
Yeah,
like I find quite a lot of the newer WWE themes very generic and they're not very memorable. The odd one will stick in your mind, but like AEW, Mikey Ruckus, like I say, kills it, and for the most part, they all go really well with the character and stuff. The guys, they're very, very talented indeed. But
I think each theme feels very, very like its own thing. It feels like it fits. Yeah, it feels like it fits the wrestler and what the wrestler is currently doing very well. Like with the Christian Cage storyline at the minute, the Luchasaurus has like kind of a changed theme, and that kind of fits what he's doing. And then like Jungle Boy is like, you know, Jack Perry, like a similar sort of thing going on there. So it's nice to see that they're not scared to just to change the theme to fit the time.
To fit the story. My favorite is the music that isn't music, the Don Callis, just a drone. It's and he's trolling them before he's even said anything. It's
another great example.
Yeah, I love that. That's good stuff. I've been. I know it's not a Mikey Ruckus song outright, but like Kenny Omega's theme gets stuck in my head all the time, and I sing it. I've been singing it for years, and I still sing it now, and it's just like it's so good. And if he comes out to that theme, I assume he will. It's going to be quite a moment for me and 80,000 other people. So hell yeah, guys. We're going on almost 2 hours. So holy shit, we should really start wrapping this up. So we'll move on to the main event. MJF, Adam Cole, baby, world title. What are we thinking, Scott?
It's going to be something that this is probably the toughest to call. If you look at the story from the beginning, you know, we thought it was going to be your standard story. MJF betrays, you know, well, first it looked like MJF meets one of his idols and has to overcome him, maybe sets Adam Cole some tasks. But, you know, you've got the Kingdom, Roderick Strong, the little things they've been doing, like the knife in the back, which is kind of juxtaposed with these crazy segments that they've been doing with birthday parties, double clothesline, everything he says, you know,
kangaroo
he's
kick.
our scumbag. Kangaroo kick had me cracking up. I hope they will see that in the Zero Hour.
When they're not a team anymore. I'm going to miss it so much. The skits have been tremendous, and it's so funny.
And it's like we were saying earlier, it's like whatever happens, it just leads. It's not going to be a swerve. It's not going to be a rug pull. It's going to be one of many stories that they can tell. You know, is Adam Cole going to side with the Kingdom? Is MJF going to strike first? Is the fact that MJF loses his only friend going to send him into some dark spiral? Is he going to go inside himself? Is he going to do like, you know, when Jericho reinvented himself and just stopped speaking? You know, MJF comes out and he's not speaking anymore. He's just hurting people, you know. Or is it going to be, he's going to be, you know, he's going to go on the babyface run of 2023, 2024, you know. The skit they did with Tony, again is hilarious, and then the next minute you go from this high comedy to this, he's going to get kicked in the head when he turns around and you know, hug it out. And like I say, we're all going to be sad when it's over, but so far so much of it is kind of and the whole where you have the championship belt as kind of like the Miss Elizabeth in the Mega Powers Explode. You know, you got lost in your eyes when you're looking at that, when they're looking at that belt and they come over all Gollum, and then that's it, friendship's out the window. And I think I heard earlier that, you know, what the last promo they did, and it's like throwing in some Stone Cold lines, and just, you know, MJF is such a scholar. You know, the way he turns around and says, I don't care about New Japan, I don't care about all you marks, but he's so his wisdom and his storytelling and psychology is way beyond his years, and I think we kind of take it for granted. He's got everyone in the palm of his hand. It's the Burberry is going to be up to 11, I think, as well. So that'll be interesting.
Go down well in London more so than most places.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to move hooky Burberry scarves outside of Wembley on the walk. 2 foot 10 your MJF scarves. Whatever happens, it's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be, and it's also going to be, I think, really incredible. I think a lot of people aren't going to know how to feel when whatever happens, and that's what I'm there for. Because after with the Danielson match, and you're kind of like, wow, it's MJF and Bryan Danielson you were like, oh, it took you a while to kind of process, and you go back to it and you see everything that's been put in, and with the feud he had with CM Punk, he's obviously a lifelong fan. Him as a kid meeting him, and the genuine stuff, the trials and things he's faced in life, and his character is all so well worked. It's he is a generational talent. I know it's tongue in cheek, but
it's true,
yeah, and
tell
any
me when
company
I'm telling lies kind of things.
Yeah, any company and to think about, we weren't too long ago when he was telling Tony Khan where to stick it, and we didn't think he'd be back. And again, that was one of those kind of dark days of AEW as a fan, when you're like, I'm not enjoying it as much when he's not around. And now he's back, and maybe we're going to be able to enjoy this character, but I can't see it having a happy ending. It's been too good. But then I'm thinking, is that me?
Oh no, he's gone again. The horror.
No.
But no, I think it's going to be it's going to be something like we haven't seen before, and I'm just really, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. There's so many elements have been sown, so many broad strokes, and there's so many subtle little things that I'm just really, I can't wait to see what they do.
Brandon?
So obviously, like Scott said, there's so many different ways this can go. For me, I think the way it's going to go out, pan out, is so they'll have like a fantastic match, call some amazing spots, really give the audience something special, and right at the end, MJF will go to cheat somehow to get the win. And then I can see Adam Cole looking at him like, what are you doing? We've come this far. We've just competed for world championships. And then MJF will think about what he's doing. And then at that moment, I can see Adam Cole then taking the shot, betraying him when he's off guard, and actually picking the title up. So I think Adam Cole will come out of the pay-per-view champion. And then MJF will get a rematch clause, and then that will set a huge storyline up to where MJF will retake the title. And then I think that'll completely turn him to the dark side for once and for all. In the sense that he's opened himself up to someone for the first time in probably his whole professional career. And then they've stabbed him in the back, and then it's just gone completely rogue to get the title back. And then I think that'll lead into this whole bidding war 24 deal really nicely. And I can see him doing something like threatening to take the title over to WWE, leaving, creating a whole scene about it.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point about the contract. I'd completely forgotten that little beat where he gives him the contract, and I think someone at the time in the crowd is like, "Look at the contract, Adam. It's MJF. You can't trust him." And then they're like, "Didn't hear that," but yeah, something's in that contract.
Yeah. I'm. It's going to go one of two ways. It's either, they've been pushing hard. Adam Cole turning on MJF, but Adam Cole's just come back from like a life threatening, well, career-threatening injury, and is still riding that babyface wave. Is it right to turn him heel just yet? Part of me feels like it's all kind of pointing in that direction, but then it's making you forget that MJF's kind of pretended to be a babyface once or twice in the past, and then just turned, and then that's what everyone was kind of expecting. But then with the whole Adam Cole, the stabbing in the back, the cuddle thing, and then threatening to super kick MJF behind his back and all that kind of stuff, it's making you forget about that and making you think Adam Cole's going to turn. So a part of me just thinks that's a little too obvious now. So MJF's going to turn, and maybe the Kingdom and Roderick Strong are going to turn their back on Adam Cole. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm leaning more towards Adam Cole's going to turn on MJF, and there's going to be a new champion and a new faction, new old faction, I guess you could call it. So yeah,
it's hard to make the call. I think something that's important to keep in mind is one of MJF's biggest lines while he was doing his heel run. He kept saying, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled is making you think he didn't exist."
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're throwing you off with Adam Cole, maybe it's perfectly telling that story.
Yeah.
Making everyone forget about him, and then there he is.
Yeah, because he keeps introducing himself as the devil, even though he's like, "Muchachos!"
Yeah.
and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, Scott, MJF's got wisdom beyond his years, and he's got such a wealth of knowledge, and his storytelling is incredible. His attention to detail is vastly underrated. Is incredible. Really, really, really is incredible. And he's a credit to any company that he's in. And long may that be AEW, because it'd be devastating to see him go over to WWE. But, you know, whatever happens, happens. But, yeah, go back to this match. I think I am going to go for MJF win. And there's some kind of shenanigans faction forming. Maybe it's the Kingdom and Roddy joining with him, or just turning the back on Adam Cole. Maybe not necessarily joining a faction with MJF, just doing his bidding, and then MJF goes off by himself, kind of thing, and then maybe Adam Cole has to start a new faction himself to go up against him. Is Kyle O'Reilly any closer to full health? Because he's been off TV.
I was wondering
quite some time, and there's been no real updates. But what is it? Neck fusion surgery? That is.
I believe so. Yeah.
No laughing matter at all. So yeah. Who knows, mate? Who knows?
I think that's the good thing, though. Like all these scenarios that we've just outlined, they're all just as possible as each other.
Yeah.
And I think they would all work just as well as each other as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of talk of look at the Kingdom. The Kingdom, it's kind of pushing you towards that Adam Cole win. With mending those bridges. But alternatively, like I say, Kyle O'Reilly could come back. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong could team up with Adam Cole. They've all been playing everyone for a fiddle. Never trust a man in a neck brace that doesn't need it. And and hey, the Kingdom and MJF. You've got the trios. If Kyle O'Reilly is fit, you've got 3 against 3 there. It's one of many ways it could go, and you won't. And again, it's one of the things I love about being able to invest in a weekly product is you won't feel cheated, or we won't feel like, where the hell did that come from? It's a testament to kind of like I think the freedom to have someone have a character and allow them to be true to that vision that they have, and not have to worry that they're going to have their name changed, their outfit changed, a heel turn, a face turn,
You're going to shave your head and you're going to be this big guy's manager. Mouthpiece. Yeah, imagine that happened. That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, so have you guys got an answer for the who's going to win the match and stuff, or are you still kind of in between two minds?
I'll probably change my mind 100 times between now and then, but I'll just go with Adam Cole.
Yeah, I would say Adam Cole.
I'm going to go with MJF, and I'm sticking with it just because I've just got a little feeling. Because he's the devil, and he's a devious little sausage. So we'll see what happens there. So that brings us. That's the whole card. So that's the end of the show, and it's taken us 2 hours to get to this point. So if you are still watching / listening, you are an absolute lunatic, and thank you. So yes, I will. So, guys, do you want to plug your socials? Brandon, do you want to plug your socials?
Yep. So my Instagram is BrandonLee_PW.
Training to be a pro wrestler, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully, yeah. I'm not started my training yet. I'm hoping to get into Pursuit in Sheffield or
Hell yeah.
Evo in Grimsby. They're the two I'm targeting. So Really hoping to be in the ring one day. It's my biggest dream.
Amazing, mate. Scott?
I have an art page. It's Scenes of Graphite Horror. Terrible pun. It started off as a horror art page, morphed into wrestling. It's just because it gives me like my biggest inspiration, like we're saying, the characters and things like that. It's just there's always something to draw. Oh God, draw that. That's funny. That's horrific. It got it's so it'd be great if people could follow Scenes of Graphite Horror, and just see what I come up with next.
Yeah, cool stuff. The artwork's great, and I'm a big fan. That's how we first started chatting. I don't know, I think your page just kind of randomly appeared on Instagram one day, and I liked what I saw, and we've been chatting more or less consistently for like the last few months and stuff. So I appreciate that. And so I run the Work the Left Side Instagram, which is at WTLS316, but there are also the Facebook group, which is at Work the Left Side. There are Twitter and TikTok. That is at WTLS420. That are Lord and Saviour. Nick runs himself. So my personal is at Tankle_Grimoire, but don't bother if you're not into like death metal and just footy related stuff and just random shit basically. So anyway, I will thank you very much for all joining me, fellas. It's an absolute pleasure to have seen your faces and heard your voices rather than just words in a conversation box. So I certainly hope we can do this again.
For sure.
So I had another guy lined up for this show, but he wasn't feeling very well. So I'm hopefully going to get him on in the future. So shout out to Mark if you're listening. We'll get you on in the future, hopefully. And see you all on Sunday. I hope we should try and organise some kind of meet-up. I'm catching the coach from Leeds at 8 a.m. I've absolutely no idea what time that's going to land at Wembley. So
I'm going to be there all day, driving down. So I'm going to get there for about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nice, mate. Nice.
So going to be around pretty much all day. So
mate,
I'll be getting there for about lunchtime, so I'll catch you guys there.
Sick, dude. Well,
I'll have a beer or two before.
Sounds like a plan. I'll be ringing my friend JB and stuff. So cool stuff. We'll be in touch. But anyway, 2 hours and 4 minutes. So I'll say thank you, good night, and bang.
Thanks a lot for having me on. It's been great.
Yeah.